online lecture for the operating system for the diploma of 5th semester computer engineering unit 3, that is process management. Topic cover in inter-process communication. Myself H.G. Doke from Government Polytechnic Achalpur. Let's see the COs covered for the subject. The following are the COs for the operating system subjects. Now next we have to cover the topic, that is inter-process communication. Now what is meant by actually inter-process communication? The exchange of a data between the two or more separate independent process, or it may be the thread, is possible using inter-process communication. Operating system provides the resources for the inter-process communication such as a message queue, semaphores and shared memory. A complex programming environment uses a multiple cooperating process to perform the related operations. Now these processes must communicate with each other and share the resources and information. The kernel must be provide the mechanism that makes these processes possible. Now this mechanism is referred to as inter-process communication. Now in the distribution computing process make the use of these facilities of the resources to provide the application using, that is API, that is application programming interface, which allows the inter-process communication to program to the higher level of attributes. Now there is a 5 types of inter-process communications are available. First one is, that is a shared memory permits the process to communicate by simply reading and writing to a specified memory location. Second one include map a memory is a simple to shared memory except that is associated with each files and file system. Third include the pipes of permitting of sequential communication from one process to the relative process. Fourth include, that is a first in first out are similar to the pipes except that a non-related process can communicate because of the pipeline is given the name in a file system. And fifth one is, that is include a socket supports of communication between unrelated process even on the different computer system. Now what is the purposes of inter-process communication? Now inter-process communication uses, that is a firstly, that is a shared memory, and second one is, that is a message passing. Now first we have to discuss, that is the purposes of a inter-process communication. As shown in a diagram, IPC shows the different hosts. Now first include, that is a data transfer. Now once the process may wish to send a data to the another process, means one process may sends a data from one process to another process, then sharing data. Now sharing data is what it include, the multiple process may wish to operate or share the data, such as a process modifies the data, that changes will be immediately visible to another process by sharing it. Now the third will include, that is event modifications. Now the process may wish to notify the another process or set of a process that some event has to be occurred. Now next one is, that is a resource sharing. Now resources kernel provides a default semantics for the resources allocation. They may be suitable for the application. The next include, that is a process control. A process such as a debugging must wish to assume the complete control over the execution of another process. Now the IPC has a two forms, that is a IPC must be for the same host or it may be the for the different host. Now the IPC uses a two function, that is a synchronization and message passing. Firstly, let's see the synchronization. Used to coordinates the access of resources among the process and also coordinates the execution of these process. They can be locking semaphores, mutex and conditional variable. Next one is, that is a message passing. Now the message passing uses when the process wish to execute the information. The message passing tables serves the form, that is a pipes, first in first out messaging queues and shared memory. Now let's see that what is meant by a shared memory. The region of a memory that is shared by cooperating the process is established. The process can be the exchange the information by reading, or it may be the writing the shared memory. Now the shared memory is allows the maximum speed conversion of a communication, as it is done a memory speed when within the computer. The sharing memory is faster than the message passing. Now the message passing system is typically implemented using the system called thus requires the time consuming task for the kernel intervals. In the contrast, the shared memory system are required only to establish a shared memory region. Once the shared memory is established, the access to the treated the routine memory access and not be assisted from the kernel is required. Now the figure shows the client and server with a shared memory. Now what are the advantages and limitations of the your that is a shared memory? Now whenever the advantages is provided, it is a good for the larger amount of a data and a very fast. Now the limitations are no synchronization provided when application has to be creates its own. And second one is that is to shared memories map system calls which maps the file into the address space. Now next one is that is a message passing. Now the message passing system requires the synchronization and communication between the two processes. Now the message passing uses as a method of communication in a kernels. Now message passing systems comes in a two form. Message passing must be sent the data by process either a fixed or variable size. The actual function of a message passings are normally provided in a two forms. Now first form is that is send the message from destinations and receive the message from the source name. Now sending primitively sends for sending the message to the destination. The process information is in the form of the message to be another process designated by a destination. A process receives the information by executing a receive primitive which indicates the resources is sending the process and messages. Now the design characteristics of a message system for the inter-process communication. Now first is included is synchronization between the processes. Then next one addressing. Next include the formatting of messages, and fourth one is giving of a discipline. Now the issues of a IPC by a message passing. Now the message is what? A block of information. This message is a formatted block of information that is sent to the sender of a process to the receiver of the process. The message block consists of fixed length of header that is followed by a variable size of collections of a type of data objects. Now what is his header block include? This will be include first addresses, that is a set of character that is uniquely identified for both, that is a sender and receiver. Then next one, that is a sequence number. Now what is sequence number? This identify to duplicates or the loss of message in case of a system failures. Then third one is that is a sequence structure information. Now it may be having the two parts. These types of parts specify whether the data is to be sent to the receiver, is to be included within the message, or it may be the message only contains the pointer to data. Or the second part will be given the length of the variable size message. As shown in the figure, this will be the message structure that is consisting of a variable size collections of the data and fixed size headers. Okay. Then next is that is important issues to be considered whenever you are designing the inter-process communication protocol. Now first is included is the sender's identification, then the receiver's identification, numbers of receiver, how many receivers are available, then the acceptance of a sender messages by a receiver, then acknowledged by a sender, then next is that is the handling of the system crashes whenever there is a failure, then handling of a buffers and others to be delivers the message. Then the features of message passing. Now first features is that is simplicity. Now the message passing system should be a simple and it is easy to use. Means it should be possible to communicate with a old and a new application. Then second one is that is a uniform semantics. Now the message passing is uses for the two types of IPs, that is a local communication and the remote communications. Now the whenever you are uses the local communication, communicate the process from one same to the node, and whenever remote communication process are with a different node. Next one is that is efficiency. Then inter-process communication becomes so expensive if the message passing is not efficient. User try to avoid the IPS for the application. Now message passing will becomes more efficient if we are try to avoid the message exchange during the communication. Now what it included? It included first to avoid the cost of establishing and determining communication. Next is that is minimizing the cost of maintaining the connection. Then C included that is the piggybacking of acknowledgement. The next one is that is include the features that is reliability. Now the distributed operating systems are prone to be the different corresponding events such as the node crashes or the physical links failure. The loss of message becomes of the communication that is a link failure. To handle the loss of message, we are required the acknowledgements and the retransformation policy. Now the duplicate message is one of the major problem. This is happen because of a timeout or event failure. Then the next one is that is the correctness. Now the correctness is a feature that is related with inter-process communication protocols for the group of communication. Now these are issues as a related with the correctness are as follows. Now first is that is the atomicity. Now the every message is sent to a group of receiver will be delivered to the either all of them or none of them. Then order of delivery. Now the message receives to the all of the receiver is the order expected to the application. And last one is that is the survivability. That is the message will be the correctly delivers the disciplines and partitions failure of the processes, mechanisms or communication failure. Now next include that is a security. The message passing system must be provided with a secure end-to-end connection. Means whenever there is provided with the end-to-end connection, then it has to provide a security. Then next one is that is the portability. Now the message passing system should be itself be a portable. Now next is this is review questions are available for the given topic. Now the following are the question that is available, that is what is explain the inter-process communication, then the describes the any one of the technology, also draw and explain the inter-process communication. Then next question is explain the message passing system with describe the naming, synchronization and buffering. Also provided with a question of explain the inter-process communication with the shared memory and message passing, and define the synchronization with the blocking and non-blocking in message passing. Thank you for seeing the video.